Okay, welcome back. Now, today we will create a game using Python. For today's learning objectives, at the end of the lecture, the students will be able to use random numbers in creating a Python game and create a simple math games. But before we will create our own game, we will first review our conditional operator. If you can still recall, in our previous topic, we have discussed the conditional operator. So equals, double equals means is equal. This is the greater than, this is less than, okay? And then less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, not equal, and many more. These are conditional operator. So how does it work? Like for example, if I will, if I have here conditional statement 2 equal 3. So this is actually is 2 equal 3 question mark. So it will give you a true or false value. So let's run the code. 2 equal 3. Since they are not equal, it will return a value false. This is called Boolean type. Okay, a Boolean value which is false. Okay, now if I'm going to change this to 2, it will return true. Is 2 equal to? Oh yes, it's true. So what about greater than? Let's say I will change this to greater than, because this is very important in our conditional statement, like if else, or else statement. Now this is very important. The same is true with loops. Now, later on, now we will learn how to use a while loop, but this time now we'll just study um, how to create games using for loop and conditional statement. Okay, let's try. 2 is greater than 2. Run the code, and it returns a false statement. This is false because 2 is not greater than 2. Now let's try. Is 2 greater than or equal to 2? What do you think? I will just erase this part. It will return a Boolean value of true because 2 is greater than or equal to 2. Okay, let's try. Is 2 not equal to 2? So it will return a false value. If I will change this to 1, 2 is not equal to 1, which is true. Okay, that's how a conditional operator works. Okay, now we go to random numbers. So when we say random numbers, it generates a random floating number or an integer. So here is the syntax. Now, random is very important, especially in mathematics, because it actually random is used to check whether your code is correct or not. Random is used in sampling, like in statistics. Okay, and we have two functions under random library. We have random open and close parentheses. Now it generates a random numbers from one to from 0 to 1. This is 2. Okay, I will change this to 2. 2. Okay, sorry. Okay, now where are we now? Here now, rand int ab generates random numbers from a to b. Okay, this is the syntax, and we will have an example for this. Okay, in our first example, we are going to generate, let's say, generate a random floating number. Okay. So to generate a random floating number, we will call on the library. This is the random module. Now from the random module, so from random, we are going to import, okay, random. That's it. Or you can just say, I will import every functions inside the random module. So in this case, now I'm going to print a random number. Okay. Okay. The random number from, let's say, from 0 to 1 is, okay, I will generate a random number here. So to generate a random number, you just type random, open and close parentheses. So that's how you generate a random number between or from 0 to 1, a floating random number. Okay, let's try, run the code. So it will generate point 0, 0.8044. Okay, so this is the length of the numbers it will generate. Now, if you want to round this up, okay, let's say I want only up to 2 decimal place. So I will say round. This is, we are going to round off up to 2 decimal places, the random generated number. Okay, run again. So it will only display up to 2 decimal place. So that's a round function. Again, that's 0.42. It displays a random numbers from 0 to 1. So that is how you generate a random floating number. Now we are going to generate a random integer from 0 to 9. So let's say we are going to generate a random floating integer from 0 to 9. So we will call the random library. So random, and we will import all functions inside the random module. Okay, now since we are going to print the random number, okay, the random number generated from, let's say, from 0 to 9 is, okay, this time now I'm going to use rand int, and the first argument is the starting value, and the last argument will be the end value. So we are going to generate number, random integer between or from 0 to 9. Let's try. Let's print. Okay, now the random number generated from 0 to 9 is 5. Okay, that's it now for our example number 2. Now let's go to our next example. This time, now we are going to, okay, I will read the problem first. Example number 3 states that we are going to create a program to guess a single digit number from 0 to 9. So the user will input a number. If the number is guessed correctly, it will print that's right. Otherwise, it will print try again. Okay, here is our algorithm. So let's start by creating our algorithm. Okay, number 1. So what will be our algorithm here in number 1? What will be our first step? Of course, start will be the first step, but in this case, no, read the user number. Okay, so we are going to read the number entered by the user. Okay, the user input. So we are going to read the user input. So the user will input a number, and then we will generate a single digit random number. Number 3, if if no, the number is equal, if the random number generated is equal to the number entered by the user, then number 4, then go to 4. Okay, so in 4 we are going to print, so that's right, display, that's right. Number 5, let's say we have else if the number is not equal, then go to 6. This is 6. Display, try again. So this will be our code, and this we can say end statement. Okay, now before we will start our coding, we will import the random number. Let's say import from the module random. Sorry. So we can say from the random module, we are going to import every function. So that is asterisk. Okay, now first we are going to read the user input. So the user will enter a number, and then it will be stored to a variable num. So since the user will just input a single digit number, I will just call it int. So int input, now we are going to read the number. Let's say we will ask the user to guess the number. And then the user will input a number. And the number will be stored to the variable num. So I will zoom this out. And then in our second step, we are going to generate a random number. Generate random number. So I will just use random as my variable, and we will generate a random number, a random integer using randint. Since we are guessing numbers between from 0 to 9, so we can just say randint 0 to 9. So it will generate a number and then store it to random. So next step, now if the number generated is equal, so we can say we are going to use the if statement. If the number entered by the user, this is num, is equal, it means this is a conditional statement, which means is the number equal to the random number? Say random. So if true, if they are equal, then do this. So what are we going to do? Display that's right. So to display, we can say print. That's right. Take note of this. This is an error. We've done this before with my friend Pete. Okay, you can still recall. Now, in this case, I will be using double quotations, no, to enclose my character or my string. That's right. Okay. All right. Now then, if otherwise, if the number is not equal, it means we are going to display. Okay. Try again. All right. Try again. So this is how you code, no, the guessing number. So let's try to run the code. Run the code. Okay, guess the number. Let's say the number is 5. Try again. So we will stop entering the number if we correctly guess the number. Let's say 6. Try again. Run again. 3. I'll try again. Let's say 4. Try again. Let's say 7. Lucky 7. Okay, not lucky. Lucky 8 for Chinese. Okay, lucky 9. Number 1. Okay, try again. Number 2. Okay, run the code. Number 3. Okay, number 5. I think this is 0. 0. Oh, okay. I cannot guess the number. 1. 2. Okay. Again. 2. Again. 2. Oh, again. 2. Okay, it's boring now. But we will not continue if I cannot guess the number. So take note. Oh, okay, that's lucky 8. So guess the number. That's right. 8 is the correct number. Okay, this is our first guessing game. Now, let's proceed with example number 4. Now, let me read the problem. Create a program that will ask the user to guess a single digit number in 5 attempts only. The program will count the number of times the number is guessed correctly. Okay, so meaning to say, we are going to create a loop 5 times, and it will continue to ask the user to enter a number, and it will increment the count if the number is guessed correctly. Okay, let's start by calling the module random and importing all the functions inside it. Let's start now by creating a loop. Let's say 4. In this case, I will be using I as my loop variable. So since we will only need 5 loops, so I will just say for I in range of 5, meaning to say it will loop 5 times. So whatever you put inside the loop, no, it will repeat it 5 times. So 5 times, no, the user will input a number. So let's say int, okay, input, let's say enter a number. Okay, the user will input a number. Okay, and then it will generate, the computer will generate a random number. Let's say random number 1. Let's say number num1, random number 1, okay, is equal to rand int, okay, from 0 to 9. Take note, the first statement here inside the loop is that the user will input a number and store that number to a variable num1, and the second statement states that run num equals to run. It will generate a random number and store to run num1. And then we are going to use the if statement, okay, to see if the number generated randomly, and the number entered by the user is equal. So if the numbers if the number is equal, then it will, let's say, it will count the score. So I will use score here. Score equals to score plus 1. Take note, we don't have a variable score, initial value for the score. So in this case, we will initialize the score to be 0 since we have not yet started the game. So initially the score is 0. Okay. 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 No more. Okay. Again, let's review. We are going to create a program that will ask the user to guess a single digit number in 5 attempts only. So the loop here in range 5, it means it will create 5 attempts. Okay, the program will count the number of times the number is guessed correctly. So this score equals score plus 1 will count how many times the number is guessed correctly. So initially the score is 0, and our last statement, we are going to print the score. So you have guessed the number. So I will be using a curly bracket here, curly bracket, 5, or let's say n times. Okay, and then format. So in this case, I will use score. Okay, that's the score if you guess the number correctly. Okay, let's run the code. So you will be asked to enter a number, let's say 5, enter a number again, 4, enter a number again, 3, enter a number 6, enter a number 9. This is the last number. And you have guessed the number 0 times. Let's try again. So we will stop. We will only stop if we can guess one number. 3, 4, 1, 0, and 5. Oh, you have guessed the number 1 time. But do you know what number is that? We don't know. So how are we going to know that one of these is the correct number? So we are going to insert a code, a line here that will print if the number is guessed correctly. So let's say if the number is guessed correctly, now increment the score and print correct. Okay, let's say print correct. So correct will be printed once the number is guessed correctly. Okay, let's try. Let's try to run the code again. Run the code. Okay, a 4. Meaning to say it is not correct because it will only print correct if the number is correctly guessed. 5 is wrong also. 3 is wrong. 6 is wrong. Okay. 7 is wrong. So we have not guessed any number here. Again, let's try. 9. Oh, that's correct. So take note now. When I entered 9, now it prompted me that 9 is correct. So 6. Okay, that's wrong. 7. That's also wrong. 4. And the last number 1. So I guessed the number 1 time. And by inserting this code, now we will know what number is guessed correctly. All right. So that's it for our fourth example. Now let's try this Python game for kids. Now, we are going to create a Python math addition game for kids. Now the program will generate a 5-item addition problem and allows the user to enter the sum. So the user will enter the sum. The program will count all the correct answers entered by the user and display whether the sum is correct or not in each number, then print the final score after the last attempt. Okay, now let's start by calling the module random. From random, we are going to import all function. And then we are going to initialize the score to be 0 since we have not yet started our game. So since we will be generating 5-item exam, we are going to create a loop. Let's say 4. In this case, I will be using J in range 5, Y5, because we will generate 5 numbers. Okay. Okay. Now, in the first loop, no, we are going to generate the first number. So we will label that as X. Run int, okay, 0 to 9. Since the game is to add 2 single digit number. So we have run int 0 to 9. This time I will use y as my second variable. This will be our second number. And I will use z, to represent the sum of 2 randomly generated number. Now, the user will be prompted to input. Okay, so in this case I will be using integer here. So this is the state. What we will be creating a statement that will allow the user to input, okay, the number. So let's say what is curly bracket plus curly bracket equal to. Okay, so the first curly bracket is your X, the second is your Y. Okay, so we are going to format, okay, X and Y, meaning to say X and Y is your first and second curly bracket respectively. Okay, now take note that the number that is entered by the user will be stored to the variable sum, and we want this variable sum, to uh, to be equal to z. Take note, z here is the randomly generated sum of 2 numbers. Okay, if they are equal, then we will count the score. We will increment the score of the kid, and we will print. Okay, we will print. Okay, correct. Okay, now if the score is equal to z, take note, the sum here represents to the number entered by the user. Okay, okay, and then we are going to print correct if the sum is equal. Now we go to what if it is not correct. What are we going to do? So wrong, so we can say wrong. This is actually creating feedback to the student. Now if the sum is correct or not correctly entered by the user. So at the end of the program, after 5 loop, now the program will print the score. Your score is, okay, comma score. Okay, that's it for our first game. So take note, all of these have been indented. So meaning to say it is part of the loop. So meaning to say every time it loops, it generates 2 numbers and sum that 2 numbers, and then the user will input that sum, if the sum entered by the user is equal to the generated sum or the randomly generated sum, if that is equal, no, it will increment the score of the student and print correct. Okay, let's try. Run the code. So let's say, what is 4 plus 2? No, I will enter 6. Okay, that's correct. What is 9 plus 9? I will enter 18. Okay, that's correct. I will enter 2. That's correct. I will enter 9. That's correct. And this is the last number. I will enter 15. And at the end of the loop, no, your score will be displayed here. So your score is 5 because we get all the correct sum. All right, let's try one more time. Run the code. This time I'm going to intentionally uh, write the wrong answer. So this is 10. Okay, it displays a wrong answer. This is 9. Correct. Okay, this is 12. Wrong. This is 9. Wrong again. And this is 9. Correct. So we have 2 correct answers, and then your score is 2. Okay. Now for your exercises, I have prepared this one. Okay, take note, you don't need to submit these exercises. Exercises is just for practice. Guys, if you want to know programming, you have to do programming. So in this case, you have to create a 10 item 2-digit addition game, by modifying the codes above. So this is the code. So modify this code. This time you are going to add 2-digit numbers. Okay, and you need to create a 10 item to addition of 2-digit numbers. Okay, that is for exercise number 1. Let's try this exercise number 2. So create a 10 item 1 digit this time. This is a multiplication game. So just multiply, just modify the code above. So this 1 and 2 exercises are actually related. The first one is addition. The second one is multiplication. Okay, now let's create another game. So this time, now we will create a program to roll a die and display the number of dots in terms of asterisk. Okay, now we are going to display a die in terms of asterisk. Now let's go to our sixth example here. In our sixth example, now we are going to create a program to animate the rolling of a dice. Use asterisk to indicate the face of the dice and print the number. So if you can see, in the picture here, the face are designated by dots. So in this case, no, I will be using asterisk. So if you have 3 dots here, no, it means no, that is number 3. If you have 4 dots, means it is number 4, and we are going to generate that one. Now, let's start by, take note, I will not be creating an algorithm here. No. So from random, we are going to import, okay, every function. Since we are going to do animation, we will use the module time. So because we will be using an animation here. Okay, let's try. Let's animate the rolling of a dice. So I will first use input. So without any variable, meaning to say I will just press any key, enter key. Okay, press enter key to roll a dice. Okay, that's it. We are going to just press the enter key to roll a dice. Now, we are going to create a random number. We will call this one num2, and this number is generated using randint. Okay, but this time, no, we will use 1 to 6. 1 to 6 is the number indicated by the face of the dice. Okay, 1 to 6. And then what are we going to do? We will animate, okay, using for loop. Let's say I. We are going to use I. In this case, we will be using num2. Okay, we will animate the asterisk. Let's say I will print the asterisk here, and then we are going to use AND algorithm, meaning to say it will print, okay, an asterisk, no, followed by an asterisk, no, if necessary. It depends on the random number generated. And then we are going to delay the time. So using the sleep function, no, you use this, no, in your midterm examination. Now, some of you, no, I know that you are sharing your code because of this sleep function. So this time I will use sleep one, meaning to say it will pause the program for 1 second. Okay, that's how the sleep works. It will pause the program for 1 second, and then it will continue to loop depending on the generated random number here. So if the random number generates 5, it will print 5 asterisk. Okay. If the number generated is 6, it will print 6 asterisk that represent the face of the die. So in this case, we are going to display the number. The number is, okay, num2. Okay. We will also display the number after rolling a die. Okay. I will be using a backslash n here. Okay. Run the code. Okay, according to the problem here, press enter key to roll a die. So take note, I only use input here without any variable. So meaning to say, I'll just need to press enter. So watch the animation. Okay, that animation is actually is the simulation of the rolling of a die. So in this case, the number is 4. Run again. Okay, press enter. Okay, it will animate the number. Okay, this time it's number 3. Run again. Okay, this is a nice game. You can create any games out of this method. Okay, that's the number 5. Okay, that's how you create a program that will simulate the rolling of a dice. Okay. Okay. Okay, here is our last example. I will read it for you. Create a program that will allow the user to bet on a die game. Okay, I will just change this one. Die is the plural of the dice. Okay, dice and die. Okay, dice meaning only one. Die means two or more. Okay. Okay, I will be using dice here because we will only use one dice. Okay, create a program that will allow the user to bet on any die on a dice game by entering the number. Then the dice will be rolled once, display whether the user wins or lose, and let's modify the code above. Okay, now we will only modify the code above. Instead of modifying the code, I will create new code. No, let's say from random Take note, we will be using this to generate a random number, and we are going to import time function sleep. No, that is the under the time function sleep. Okay, now we are going to, according to this, the user will input a number, will bet on a certain number by entering the number. So this is the user number. I will name this as num2. Okay, I will just use int to represent the integer entered by the user. So I will ask the user, uh, what number do you want to bet? Okay, what number do you want to bet? Okay, or just say select the lucky number. Okay, you can do that. Okay. Select the lucky number. Not select, but enter the lucky number. You just say enter the lucky number. Okay, that is stored in your num2. And then we will get the die, the rolling of a die now by using input. Okay, press enter when ready to roll a dice. Okay, so meaning to say first the user will input a number, and then it will press an enter key when it is ready now to roll a die. And then after that, now we are going to use a looping to simulate the rolling of a die. So this time, uh, it depends on the random numbers. By the way, now before that, now we will be using a random number here. So let's say random number. So random number, let's say let's label this as 3. Okay, run num3, okay, is equal to rand int from 1 to 6. Now it will generate a random integer from 1 to 6. Okay, so for loop is actually used to um, animate the asterisk. Okay, so I have here and equals asterisk. Okay, it will animate the asterisk. So then what are we going to do next? After animating, what are we going to do next? We are going to animate, so we will use the sleep function. Let's say, let's sleep 1 second. Let's pause for 1 second. And then, now take note, we are going to display whether the user wins or lose. So after this sleep, no, we are going to display if the user wins or lose using the if statement or the conditional statement. So if no, if the number entered by the user, that's num4, is equal to the random number generated, then we can say print you win. All right. Else, we can say else, meaning to say if the number is not equal to the randomly generated number, you are going to print sorry, you lose. All right. This is it. That's our code. We don't need to print the number. We will just print win or lose. Okay, let's try the code. Okay, enter the lucky number. The user will be asked to enter the lucky number. My lucky number is 5. Okay. Press enter when ready to roll a dice. Well, enter. It will simulate. Okay. Sorry, you lose. Oh, how many times is this? Sorry, you lose. Okay. Sorry, you lose. Okay. If. Okay. Okay. Now, these two will be taken out from the loop. Okay. We need to print this after the loop. Okay. Again. Let's try. I think we need to increase no, the time. Stop. Run again. Okay, enter the lucky number. Let's say 4. Are you ready to roll a die? Press enter. 1, 2, 3. Stop. Stop. Oh, sorry, you lose. Okay, I need to put a backslash n here. Backslash n. Okay, again. Enter a number. Let's say 3. Ready? Press enter. 2, 3. You win. Oh no. Sorry, you lose. Okay, again, let's say 6. Press enter. Okay, sorry, you lose. Okay, this is a good game, a dice game. And this one will, you can actually modify this game. So I entered 5 and okay, number is 4. Okay, we will stop if we will win the game. Press enter. 1, 2. Sorry, you lose. I'm not good in gambling. 6. Ready. 3. Okay, you lose. Let's try again. So I will be saving this, uploading this file to your Canvas modules, and then you try this. You run and try all the games here, and please try to answer. Okay, you win. Oh no. So try to answer all the exercises here. Okay. And try to run the dice game. Okay. Now for your exercise number 3, now you can modify this and roll 2 dice. Now you call that die. You roll 2 die, and then you will win one if the numbers will come out. So meaning to say you have to enter a number, and you will win if the number will come out in any die. So you will win double if uh, you enter a number and then all of the dice will have the same number you have entered. Okay, let's try again one more time. This time, no, I will win if I enter 2. 2, you win. Okay, not again. Sorry, you lose. Again, enter 4. Enter. Okay, this time I will win the game. Okay, still I lose the game. Okay, that's it for now. I will see you next meeting.